How did Britain's record shops crumble? Today, we're exploring how the iconic music shops that once filled British high streets became a rarity. Our price. HMV Virgin Megastore. For decades, they weren't just places to buy CDs, they were community hubs. But then supermarkets got cheaper, downloads removed the shop, and streaming changed music forever. Here's how Britain's lost record shops rose and fell. 1. The Saturday record shop ritual. Before Spotify, music was something you had to go and find. For millions of Britons, that meant going into town. You'd pass W.H. Smith, Woolworths, the bus stops, and the market stalls. Then you'd see the record shop window. Posters in the glass. New releases near the entrance. The chart singles lined up like a scoreboard. In the late 1990s, British consumers were buying over 200 million singles and albums a year. But record shops weren't just about sales, they were about browsing. You picked up albums you couldn't afford. Read the back covers. Judged bands by their artwork. Because when an album cost £12.99, you chose carefully. For many people, one shop made that ritual feel normal. 2. Our Price. The shop everyone knew. Our Price wasn't the flashiest record shop, but it was everywhere. By the mid-1990s, Our Price had around 300 stores across the UK. You found it in shopping centres, town centres, and high streets across Britain. Rows of CDs. Cassette displays. Chart posters. Staff who looked like they knew far more about music than you did. You could go in for Take That, Oasis, Blur, Madonna, or the latest Now album. Maybe you bought something. Maybe you just checked the charts, but you still went in. Our Price made music shopping feel normal. Part of growing up. If you had a favorite record shop, let us know in the comments and subscribe for more lost British high street stories, because the next shop made music feel important. 3. HMV. The big name on the high street, HMV had something the others didn't. History. The name came from his master's voice, and the famous dog and gramophone logo dates back to the early 1900s. For many people, HMV became part of life in the 1980s, 1990s, and early 2000s. The stores felt bigger, darker, more serious. By the early 2000s, HMV had more than 200 UK stores and became Britain's dominant specialist music retailer. The chart section sat near the front, album racks stretched across the shop, DVDs later took over entire walls, and then there were the listening posts. You'd put on headphones, scan a CD, and hear a preview before buying it. HMV made music feel like identity. The album you bought said something about you. And walking out with that HMV bag felt strangely important. HMV felt serious, Virgin felt enormous. 4. Virgin Megastore. The record shop as an event. Virgin Megastore didn't feel like a normal shop. It felt like somewhere you visited. Huge floors, massive posters, imported albums, t-shirts, videos, games, books. The first Virgin Records shop opened in London in the 1970s, but by the 1990s, Virgin Megastore had become a symbol of big city music culture. In London, Birmingham, Manchester, and Glasgow, these stores became meeting points. Teenagers waited outside. Students browsed for hours. People went in even when they had no money. At its peak, Virgin had dozens of UK stores and became one of the most recognizable names in entertainment retail. It sold music as an experience, not just a product. Albums mattered. Singles mattered. Release dates mattered. And a megastore made it all feel bigger. But the real change came when record shops looked stronger than ever. 5. The CD boom. By the mid-1990s, CDs had taken over. Vinyl seemed old-fashioned, cassettes were fading, CDs felt modern and digital. A new album could cost $12.99 or more, but people paid it. In 2000, UK album sales reached around 134 million units, with CDs making up the vast majority. Record shops looked unstoppable. New release stands, chart albums, listening stations, walls of plastic cases. People didn't just buy new music, they rebuilt old collections on CD. For a while, record shops looked safe. But they had become dependent on one format, and that format was about to collapse. The first threat didn't come from the internet, it came from the supermarket. 6. Supermarkets changed the price at first. Supermarkets didn't seem like a threat. They sold food. Record shops sold music. But Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's and Morrison's began selling chart CDs aggressively. They didn't need deep catalogues, just the biggest albums. Robbie Williams, Westlife, Coldplay, the latest Now compilation, and they could sell them cheaply. By the early 2000s, supermarkets were taking a growing share of chart music sales. If you could buy the #1 album during the weekly shop, why make a separate trip into town? Record shops still had range, but convenience was starting to win. The real danger, though, was sitting inside the family computer. 7. Downloads removed. The shop. Record shops had survived format changes before. Vinyl, cassettes, CDs, but downloads were different. They didn't just change music, they removed the shop. Napster launched in 1999. Suddenly, music didn't need shelves, it didn't need a case, it didn't need a bus ride into town. CD singles were hit especially hard. In the late 1990s, UK physical single sales were still above 70 million a year. By 2004, they had fallen to around 26 million. The ritual started to break. No browsing the racks, no carrying the bag home. Just a file, downloaded in minutes. Then streaming changed the final thing record shops depended on. Ownership. 8. Streaming finished the old model. Streaming changed the whole idea of buying music. Why buy one album for $12.99 when you could access millions of songs for a monthly fee? Spotify launched in the UK in 2009. Within a decade, streaming had become dominant. By 2023, streaming accounted for over 85% of UK recorded music consumption. For decades, music was something you owned. A record, a cassette, a CD. Streaming made music something you accessed. Anywhere, anytime. Our price disappeared. Virgin Megastore vanished. HMV struggled. But then something unexpected happened. People started missing what they had lost. 9. Why Britain still misses record shops. Record shops declined because the world changed. But people still miss them because they offered something streaming cannot. The feeling of discovery. Walking in with no plan, hearing an album playing over the speakers, finding something you didn't know existed, and even though physical music collapsed, it never fully disappeared. Vinyl sales in the UK have risen for more than 15 consecutive years. By 2023, UK vinyl LP sales passed 6 million units for the first time since the early 1990s. HMV even returned to its famous Oxford Street shop in 2023 after a 4-year absence. Our price isn't coming back. Virgin Megastore is gone. But for millions of Britons, record shops were where music became personal. Where you discovered bands, spent birthday money, bought the album that defined a summer, and walked out with a plastic bag that somehow felt like part of who you were. UK record stores didn't just sell music, they gave Britain's high streets sound, colour and culture. And even though many of the shelves are gone, the memories still play on. So now we're curious. What was your record shop? Our price? HMV, Virgin Megastore, MVC? Let us know in the comments.